From collecting scorching hot lava to flying jets at speeds that make you faint, there are people all around the world who work in extreme conditions to make a living. Today, we're counting down the world's most dangerous jobs, and you're not going to believe what the number one is. Welcome to Xplained. First, let's take a look at geochemists. Geochemists are basically volcano scientists, and a big part of their work is collecting lava samples. To collect fresh lava samples, geochemists need to rush up to volcanoes right after an eruption has taken place, which is super risky business. Lava temperatures can reach up to 1,200 degrees Celsius. That's about 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. And coming into contact with the smallest amount would instantly destroy your flesh. Even just coming too close to lava would cause your skin to instantly blister and peel off. This is why geochemists wear professional volcano suits that can withstand blistering heat. But even if you're far enough to not get burnt, lava releases some really toxic gases, like sulfur and hydrogen sulfide. So if the wind blows in the wrong direction, even just the smoke can kill you. And with top earning salaries of $120,000 a year, we'll leave it to you to decide if it's worth the risks. Next up is search and rescue. Whether it's saving people trapped under snow avalanches, or rescuing someone from drowning, search and rescue operations can be very dramatic.
Vessel Northern bound, this is Contact Kodiak. Request to know if you are in need of assistance, over.
We are going down. We have 4 persons on board. We are getting in a life raft here. We're going down.
Saving people from dangerous situations means putting the rescuers in dangerous situations too, which means disasters often happen. In the famous challenging rescue operation where a group of kids were trapped in a cave in Thailand for 18 days, the only people who lost their lives were 2 rescue divers. The incredible first-of-a-kind rescue was done by anesthetizing the young boys to transport them diving underwater while asleep, because it would have been too risky for them to consciously dive for the first time in the extreme cave environment. And those guys really are true heroes, as the rescue divers in Thailand were actually all unpaid volunteers.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Moving on to astronauts. You might not be surprised that we're talking about astronauts. What you might not know is that one of the most dangerous things that astronauts deal with is completely invisible to us. Space radiation is as stealthy as it is powerful, and on average, astronauts in space are exposed to the equivalent of 6,000 chest x-rays in radiation. That's a lot. This is why astronauts are at higher risk of developing conditions such as cancer, heart disease, cataracts, and premature aging. When in outer space, their bodies also have to adjust to new gravities. Muscles, bones, inner ear, and organs are all affected. After a long time in low gravity, astronauts need to readjust to the higher gravity forces of Earth.
Is a bit more like...
So when they land back to our planet, their muscles are so weak that they even have to relearn to walk. Experienced astronauts can earn up to $160,000 a year. Would you get yourself exposed to space radiation for that kind of money? The next dangerous job is oil rig diving. We hear a lot about the tallest buildings on land, but the tallest man-made structures are actually out at sea, and we can only see the top of them. Standing at 8,000 feet, which is 2,438 meters from the seabed, the Perdido Regional Host oil platform in the Gulf of Mexico is 3 times the height of the world's tallest land building, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Humans would not be able to survive at those depths because the intense pressure stops your blood flow. But commercial divers dive at depths of up to 700 meters below sea level thanks to atmospheric diving suits, which are actually the oldest form of diving suits. At these depths, the pressure is 70 times what we feel on Earth. Here, new air is too dense to breathe, so divers use a strange mix of gases called heliox. And the most common cause of fatalities for commercial divers is gas embolism. Surfacing too fast expands the air in the lungs too much. This can rip the lung tissue, which then causes gas bubbles to be released into the arteries. It's not your typical day job and definitely not for the faint-hearted. But commercial divers might say earning up to $170,000 a year makes it worth the risk. Up next is bull riding. Bull riding has ancient roots dating back to 5,000 years ago in the Bronze Age in Minoan society. But today, we associate it with the cultures of the USA and Mexico. Riders grasp to stay mounted on the bulls, while the animals buck and thrust. The violent reaction by the bulls are an evolutionary response to predators jumping on their backs. 100% of bull riders will have had at least one sort of injury at some point in their career, and 26% of those injuries are bad enough to keep riders out of work for at least 3 months. And while bull riding may seem unglamorous, and it's definitely a bit crazy, riders are motivated by the huge cash prizes. At the end of each pro bull riding world championship season, the world champion wins a huge $1 million prize. Bull rider JB Monty recently broke the record for most earnings in any bull riding career, stacking up a crazy $7 million in competition prizes. Let's look at fighter jet pilots. Fighter jets are super complicated machines that need years of training to be able to operate.
Hey, you're on top, hey, squeeze the knees together.
Commercial aircrafts fly up to 40,000 feet in the air at speeds of up to 600 miles an hour. In comparison, fighter jets can reach over 60,000 feet at up to 1,500 miles an hour, almost 3 times the speed of commercial aircrafts. Flying at mind-blowing altitudes and speeds leaves very little margin for error. Flying fighter jets is also extremely physically demanding. A G-force is a measure of the force of gravity in acceleration. Astronauts, for example, experience 3G in liftoff, and the average human can survive up to 4G force. And 6G can be potentially fatal. But fighter jet pilots experience peaks of up to a shocking 9G. These extremes only last a few seconds, but are enough to sometimes make pilots faint while flying. It definitely takes guts to take this career path, especially with yearly salaries of up to $150,000 a year. We're not sure we'd want to put our bodies through all that. Would you? Next up is fishing. You might think of fishing as a relaxing activity, but commercial fishing is very different. Working out at sea in the middle of nowhere, there isn't much they can do if things go wrong, and a lot can go wrong. Braving rough seas through powerful storms, more than half of all fishing fatalities are caused by ships sinking or workers falling overboard. Recent research has shown that commercial fishing could be causing over 100,000 deaths each year. And in the USA, the fatality rate for commercial fishermen is 23 times higher than the world average. But with big risks come big rewards, as the average experienced commercial fisherman earns up to $80,000 a year. All right, the time has come to find out what the most dangerous and deadliest job in the world is. Get ready, because it's probably not what you expect. The world's most dangerous job is logging. With over 82 deaths for every 100,000 workers, it's more than 25% deadlier than the fishing industry. Working at extreme heights and cutting down huge trees, we know is not for everyone.
It's going the wrong way, oh my gosh. Well.
There are many risks involved, and falling off trees is just one of them. When cutting down a tree from the ground, loggers have to control the momentum of the tree and which direction it will fall in. Although this is calculated precisely, it's never guaranteed where it will fall.
Oops.
And with up to 40% of logging operations around the world being illegal, loggers often work in unsafe conditions with no precautions. But with top-earning forest engineers making up to $100,000 a year, some may think it's worth the risk.
I'd say it's about as bad as it gets.
And those were the world's most dangerous jobs. Which ones would you be brave enough to try? See you next time.